What's cracking, everybody? This is Big Steel, and I'm with my homeboy Peter Boss. We about to have Glasses checking in here real soon. He always late, he on that CPT time. And Peter is one half of the No Ceilings podcast with Glasses Malone, as you might all know. And today we go
the lesser half.
Said the lesser half?
That's right.
Well, today what we go talk about is we talking about the top 10 rappers of 2021. And to me, whenever you start the discussion on who the top rappers are, that's kind of like all opinion based to me. I know Glasses, for some reason, he likes the basis on numbers, and I'm like, dude, it's a whole bunch of dope rappers that don't sell records. A lot of sales have to do with primarily marketing and promotion. So it's whoever got the biggest marketing push, that's who's gonna sell the most record. That's who's gonna be exposed to the most people.
Yeah, I think trying to take that approach all the time is similar to assessing like an NFL quarterback who's on a really good team with a good coach versus sometimes like a guy who's the number one draft pick is going to be on a horrible team at a bad franchise with a bad coach. And it's just more than you can overcome. Like if you got drafted to the Browns 15 years ago or whatever, and you weren't the Messiah himself, you might have been a decent quarterback, but you were going to be so bad you were going to get run out of the league in 2 years.
Yeah, that's true. So what I want to do today, I want to try to pretty much break down the top 10 rappers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people, the talk of late has been, when Jay came out and said that nobody could beat him in the verses, that's not true. And I don't get me wrong, I'm a Jay-Z fan. I own every album that the man has ever put out. I own everything, but I think a little bit he's kind of like, I don't like to use the word overrated a little bit, but he's over talked about by some people.
Yeah, I agree with that totally.
Because when you talk about the best rapper discussion, I think of cats like Black Thought. I think of cats like Crooked I. I think of people with really bars. The first thing that doesn't come to my mind is record sales, really. Like record sales ain't the first thing that just pop off of my mind.
Yeah, I think that's a component of it. I'm not going to go as far onto that end of the spectrum as you would go, because I think your ability to reach masses matters. Otherwise, if you're just like a niche kind of flow guy, then you're just kind of a niche flow guy, But at the same time, I think he's been really fortuitous in where he's been placed and who's been around him throughout his career. I think, what the hell was the name of the guy who did Rockefeller with him? Dame Dash. I think Dame Dash did a lot for him. I think Dame Dash, you hear like the legendary behind the scenes work that Dame did getting this guy unbelievable beats. I think a lot of his songs for a minute when he got started, I think Hard Knock Life was 90% beat and 10% Jay-Z.
Yeah, you know what? I can say that. I'm not going to sleep on Jay's rhymes. Now, Jay is one of the best rappers, though. He's one of the best, but, and I base rapping on, battling is a big component of it, too. The one battle that Jay had, he theoretically lost. Now, that may be subject to some people's opinion, too. The whole Nas Jay-Z thing, that whole battle they had going on. I would say, Nas got the better of him with that.
Let me ask you a question, though, really.
Mm-hmm.
How many guys that you will consider just microphone murderers all time really had big-time record sales? Well, usually they don't pair very well.
Well, they don't, because like I was just telling Glasses this morning, one of the most influential albums in hip-hop was Rakim's Paid in Full. Paid in Full just went gold maybe 6 years ago, and it came out in the 80s.
So I think that was before hip-hop had a mass marketing appeal.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was telling him. That's why I was telling him, because his big thing is he likes to base everything on sales, right? And I say everything can't be quantified in sales. Everything can't be, because whoever has the biggest marketing push, like Crooked I has said some of the most incredible rhymes I've ever heard. So is Black Thought. Those guys aren't in the upper echelon of sales. Now, Black Thought is well respected. Crooked I is well respected, but they don't have those platinum sales, so to speak, to go with their critical acclaim. You understand what I mean?
Totally. Like I was always a Big L fan, but Big L was just a rapper. Like his vision was very acute and narrow. He just wanted to fucking rap. And he didn't, I don't think, see a lot of the bigger, even musical composition picture, at least during his time.
Right now, when I think of, top 10 rappers, man, right now, I think of cats like Kendrick Lamar. I think of cats like them young Griselda cats over in New York, because time does change with everything. You got to get a younger generation they props too. You got to look at it like this. You got cats like the whole Griselda crew, from Benny the Butcher and all of them dudes. Them dudes is all bananas. They all lyrical giants. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like again, Crooked Eye. He said some of the most incredible stuff ever. And then one thing you can't forget, like I see, shout out to Uncle G. You got to think about it. At one time, Cube was the man. Before Cube really started getting up in the movies and everything like that, Cube put out some of the best hip hop it was, man. You know, from Death Certificate to America's Most Wanted and all that.
Yeah.
And I think, like my man, shout out to Uncle G. He said Ice Cube versus Jay-Z on a versus. That would be a very good versus. So for Jay to say can't nobody beat him in no verses, I can name a couple of people, and Ice Cube is definitely one of them.
In a verse, like just a match singles, kind of how they do it.
Yeah, Cube got some records.
He has some good singles.
He got some good singles, man. And now if we talking about the best rapper, the best 10 rappers in 2021, man, I think that's a debate that can go on for days.
Yeah.
Really, you know what I'm saying? For days. Like I said,
I have a question on that. Would you give Meg Thee Stallion and Meg Thee Stallion's ass 2 separate spots on the top 10, or is it's all one part of the top 10?
You know what, man? I wouldn't even have Megan Thee Stallion in the top 10. This got to be for real.
She was my whole top 5. I got to redo the list.
See, you talking about a woman just from a beauty standpoint.
I'm just talking shit. She's actually my favorite women rapper of all time.
But I'm not averse to putting a woman in the top 10 either, because when you think about it, Nicki Minaj can rap.
Mm-hmm.
Nick can rap. She can really rap. The one chick from Brooklyn, what's her name, man? I can't forget her name, but that sister.
Who, back in the day?
No, currently, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, she is real dope. Meg Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj ain't no comparison. I think Nick will wash home girl.
She's a better rapper. Yeah, it's kind of like saying, like, to me, like, is Boosie the coldest rapper of all time? No. But you feel him more when you're sitting in a room. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Her name Young M.A.
Okay.
Young M.A. is dope. She could definitely be in the top 10. Young M.A. is real dope. Nicki is dope, but she's not as dope as Remy Ma. Like, you got to look at it like this. Remy Ma's a dope MC. But then it all comes into, I've heard rumors that Pat might be helping Remy with some of her bars. So does that disqualify her because she still has to deliver it?
I mean, it depends on now. If that's the standard, that really muddies the waters a lot, because it's like, if someone's helping you with your lyrics, you still got to deliver it. Well, do you have a better contract with better beats, better everything else then too?
Well, and I know that was Pusha T's argument with Drake, because he was saying that Drake had somebody writing his raps, but I think Drake can rap.
Yeah.
I don't know if him having people necessarily help him with hooks. Like, I don't know if somebody is sitting up actually writing Drake's whole songs. I don't know if they sit up there writing 32 bars for Drake on a song. You feel what I'm saying? That makes a difference right there. Now, if you got a dude that's helping with the hook, or may help get you some ideas and some stuff like that, so it make a difference. Now, my man S. Jackson, I think that's the homie Santuan, he said Safari wrote all the Nick's hits. I don't know about that. See, all that is, do we really know that? Like, that's what I'm saying.
It's impossible to know all of that stuff.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, like when Push came out and said that somebody else was writing Drake's raps. Do we know that outside of the one guy? Like, what did he?
Well, like for example, I have a story about a Drake song. This is random, but like my boy Malcolm, through whom I met Glasses, was in the studio with Drake and some other guys, and they were dicking around, and they were kind of clowning him, because I guess from how the story was told to me, like, he was all in his phone trying to get some girl to come through, and she didn't want to. So I forgot the name of the song. It's like somebody's room, something room. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know the song you're talking about.
So they were talking shit to him, singing a jingle over that song, making fun of how he was like simped out on this girl. And then they go and got food, and he came back and turned the jingle song they were singing about him and tweaked some of the words and made it that hit record. So it's like, that's a talent. It's like, yeah, you kind of got it handed to you, but you also changed enough to make it into a hit record. So like, you could say, yeah, he did the whole concept himself. You could say he did. And I don't know in real time how significant a contribution to somebody else's, shit really is when the song plays out when it's all done. There's a lot of editing. There's a lot of work that goes into a single song.
All right, so my boy Santuan, he said that Nicki hasn't had a hit since he left her, since Safari left her. I don't know. Do you have any quantitative proof of that? Do you have any proof of that Safari was writing around? Is that some he say, she say? Because if that was the case, my thing comes with this, like the cat that said he wrote Drake's rhymes. How come he ain't got no hit records right now?
Because he don't have Drake, you know what I mean? Like that, it's here. I think the best comparison to this conversation, I was thinking about it before we got on, is what happened last year in the NFL. Does it make between Tom Brady and Bill Belichick? Is Bill Belichick not a coach because Brady left, won a Super Bowl? Was it all Brady all the time? Because all you heard when Brady was there was all Bill. And then Brady leave, he wins it. Bill doesn't win shit. Doesn't make the playoffs, year one, whatever. Like, it's almost kind of like that with the rap game to me to some extent.
Well, see, now you saying that right there, right? See, you said that Jay had a team around him. And again, I'm agreeing with you on the whole Jay-Z thing, right? I think sometimes he is overly praised, right? But he's a great guy. He's great. He's made $1 billion in hip hop, which is very hard to do. Yeah. He's managed to stay relevant. And most of those guys that ain't with Jay-Z no more ain't doing stuff. It's like, I'm not dissing Dame in no other, sense of the word, but Dame ain't really been out there just popping like that. You feel what I'm saying? It's not like he's went out and found him another Jay-Z and built this thing up. Or maybe it may be difficult for him too. Who knows how they gonna block him off? You feel what I'm saying?
True. And the Jay-Z thing kind of to some degree is vaguely parallel to like Lil Wayne. Like Lil Wayne got on with Cash Money. They had a sound. They had a marketing vision. They had all that shit with Manny and Juvenile, all those guys. He was red hot. And then they scrapped the thing and they brought in a whole different team. And that team was red hot. He was in the right place at the right time twice. But they were two separate moments in time. It also would be like if somehow like a Troy Aikman guy who was a super quarterback in an I formation offense was in the league long enough and happened to grab the right team in the next generation shotgun offense. It happened to be instead of Kurt Warner at the Rams, they grabbed the last 3 years of Troy Aikman's career, and he in the Marsh offense in the whatever they used to call the Rams, greatest show on turf, if he won a Super Bowl because he just spent the last 2 years there. Kind of like the way Peyton Manning did with Denver. It's like, did Peyton Manning make Denver, or did he just happen to go, that's the right place at the right time, and it all just happened to work out cosmically for him 2 times in a row? And sometimes I can't tell, like, at some point does Jay, how much is he the catalyst to everything going on around him, and how much is he just able to pick, well, this is the best room to be in right now?
Well, you have to think about this like now, right? When you start talking about the best rappers in 2021, you can almost put some rappers that ain't, and that shows you the state of hip hop kind of right now, because there's some rappers that have been dead for a long time. They could make an argument still be on that list. You talk about Tupac, you start talking about Biggie. If Biggie would have stayed alive, would there ever have been a Jay-Z like that? You understand what I mean?
Totally. And that's what's the list? Is the list the best rappers of 2021 or the best rappers of all time as of 2021?
You know what I would say is the best rappers of all time as of 2021. And I think that if you're making a top 15 list right now, I think if you're making the top 20 list right now, you got to have Jay somewhere in that top 20. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to have him somewhere. I'm just not here to I ain't here to just be on some like Jay-Z hater stuff. You know what I mean? Because Jay is the man. The man made $1 billion. He married to Beyonce. You feel what I'm saying? And he's done some incredible moves in business. I think he's kind of just like, Jay has kind of surpassed hip hop to me right now. I don't know if you can just say that he's just one of those dudes that's just super active in hip hop right now. But, 444 was a dope ass album. It was a dope album. It was a dope conceptual album.
That's true of a lot of those guys, though. I mean, Snoop's kind of past hip hop.
Well, Snoop is definitely past hip hop, but Snoop is the most popular rapper in the world, though. You know, Snoop is one of those dudes to where you can go to anywhere in the world and show a picture of Snoop Dogg and somebody gonna know who he is.
Yeah.
I can't say the same for every other rapper. You know what I'm saying? But
Totally.
Snoop is definitely probably the most popular rapper of all time.
I would say Diddy's past hip hop. I would say Ice Cube's past hip hop. A lot of those mogul-ish kind of guys had their moment in the sun and were able to kind of parlay that out into other sectors.
Now I will give Jay this. As far as people who have kept a standard up, kind of, he's done the best job of that because Jay still can rap better than 90% of every other rapper out there. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? I don't know. Like I look at these cats like Benny the Butcher now. I look at these cats like, you know, Benny the Butcher, Pusha T, pretty much that whole Griselda crew. I look at Pusha T especially. I think Pusha T is real dangerous right now. Pusha T ain't never lost a battle.
Yeah.
Pusha T never lost a battle. He washed Drake's ass, and we saw what Drake did to Meek Mill. You feel what I'm saying? It wasn't even close. It was just ugly.
Well, so like, are we just talking battles? Because like, if somebody came out today and sounded a lot like Jay-Z, is Jay-Z's sound without Jay-Z's brand behind it relevant today if it came out brand?
Oh no, because it don't been a couple of rappers that came out that sounded like Jay-Z. We've had a couple of rappers that, you know, had that kind of Jay-Z's whole sound to them. You feel what I'm saying? Because I even got to think about what even what Nas is doing now, both business wise and putting out albums. He got with Hit Boy, and they making some dope ass music. They are making real dope music now. When we start talking about a top 10, and I need everybody see S. Jackson. He said, "See, you on some troll stuff now, Santuan. You talking about Push is very overrated. No, Push ain't overrated. You know." If you're talking about the top 10 rappers of all time, you definitely got to have Ice Cube on there. You got to have Scarface in there. You got to have Biggie Smalls in there. You got to have even Benny Siegel. Benny Siegel may not have reached the critical acclaim a lot of these dudes, right? But Beans was nice. Beans was arguably at one time nicer than Jay. Am I lying? Everybody out there that's fans of hip hop know I'm telling the truth. Beans at one time was just as nice rhyme for rhyme as Jay-Z was. I don't know if you went to it like that, Peter, or not, but it is.
It just goes back to like kind of my, you know, defining question for the theme here. What criteria are we using? And is it just confined to who simply is the best straight verse rapper at a moment, or versus rapper at a moment, not versus rapper, like battle rapper, or who can like contribute to the best end product?
I think the criteria has to be this. I don't think record sales necessarily have anything to do with it, because it's a lot. You know, you got to look at Doja Cat and all these other people that call themselves rappers. I don't look at them as a part of hip hop. I think Doja rapper is an entertainer. You feel what I'm saying? I think some of these people are entertainers that get lumped in with hip hop. No, to me, hip hop is this. Hip hop is Pusha T. Even Jay is hip hop. Nas is hip hop. You know, Cube is a part of the culture. All of them, even though Cube is doing movies and all that stuff now, you still have to say he's a very much a part of the culture. You feel what I mean? Another cat that's
his movies are a part of the culture by themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to look at it like this. You have to look at some of these people like even to a certain extent, what's homeboy's name? You know, like Will Smith is really doing movies right now, right? Will Smith was very much a part of hip hop culture, even though he was kind of on the pop side. He was very much a part of bringing hip hop to the mainstream audiences. You know what I mean? Like you look at this record. You look at this record, Summertime. Summertime is probably one of the greatest hip hop songs ever written, still banging to this day.
Yeah.
You know, that Summertime record. You know, that's still getting a lot of, you know, that record probably has made millions of dollars in publishing. So you can say even somebody like Will Smith, but he's kind of transcended hip hop. He's on to something else right now. I don't want to hear no music that Will Smith is doing now, really, to tell you the truth. I would prefer to watch one of his movies, but you can't you can't dispute what these guys have done for the culture. You feel what I mean?
Yeah.
And they had to be a part of the culture to me to be included in this argument. Right now. If you look at what Lil Wayne did, Lil Wayne had a chokehold in the game. You know, Lil Wayne sold 2 million albums in 1 week at one time. Yeah. So you have to give Lil Wayne his props and this stuff. You have to, even some of the people that they don't talk about, like Kevin Gates. I think Kevin Gates is incredible. So
I wouldn't disagree with that.
you know, who knows with all this stuff? A lot of it is just based on opinion because like I said, you can still kind of put Biggie and Tupac in this whole top 10 thing. If you talk about the top 10 rappers of all time, you got to look at it, man, because who else can put out music, man? That's almost like when you talk about Tupac, it's almost unfair because you're almost talking about the Black Elvis, so to speak. He's a legend.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Biggie didn't get to put out as much material, but Biggie was cold as hell. Them rhymes would still work today.
Mm-hmm.
He just lyrically one of the dopest dudes it was, man. So when you start talking about the top 10, though, man, I think you got to have Pusha T in there. You got to have Black Thought in there. You got to have, I almost want to say Cool G Rap, but Cool G Rap ain't just, it has to be the total package of production quality and everything else, because I've heard these older guys, they putting out projects, man, but musically, the music ain't that strong on them, though. You know what I mean? They need better quality production, stuff like that. So you have to count that in. And I would say Pusha T has consistently passed that test. He's always had knocking ass beats. He's always had dope rhymes, to whereas a cat like Crooked Eye, I think Crooked Eye, lyrically, I ain't never heard a trash verse from Crooked Eye.
Yeah.
Like I've never heard a trash verse. And you could think about some of the underground guys like Guilty Simpson. Those guys are dope. You know what I'm saying? Mostly everything that come out of Detroit is real dope.
My favorite rapper out right now is a Detroit guy. Swear straight up.
Now let's talk about it. Now you a white guy that knows hip hop, Peter.
East Side Peasy all day. When I had a bottle of Italian wine, I made Italian food with white wine sauce a couple nights ago, and I was listening to Peasy while I was cooking, and I dubbed myself Peasy Grigio for the evening.
Yep, somebody just said Black Milk. Black Milk is real dope. You know, you think about it, some of those guys that didn't get the chance, that got some crazy stuff coming. Bishop Lamont got some crazy stuff that's about to drop. So it's a whole bunch of dope ass rappers out there. But when you say top 10, that's some stuff. You talking about the top 10 of the whole game.
You know, in my opinion, to be just dead ass serious, the last guy I would ever want to be the verse after him on a song on the mic in the history of hip hop is Sugar Free. I've never heard anybody sound good after Sugar Free got off the song ever. DJ Quick didn't sound cool after him.
Now Sugar Free is definitely a top 10 rapper.
He's the most underrated rapper probably to me in history of the genre.
Sugar Free is bananas, man. Sugar Free is off the hook because I've never heard nobody with a better verse than him. Like you said, every song he's came on, he always outshined everybody.
And the delivery is dynamic as shit. It's incredible. I'm like, it would be suicide. And he had his little laneway shit going on. So the guys on some of his songs for a little while there were kind of, but good God, like, unless you were just the man and had a full-blown fan base and shit, I wouldn't. If I was trying to start a rap career, the last thing I would do would go pay money to Sugar Free to come up my song to make my song cool, because all it's going to do is make me seem like a fool next to him.
Yeah, Sugar Free. So far in the top 10, we got Pusha T. We got let me go to some of the fans. Let me go to some of these fans. Let me look at some of this stuff. Somebody got Cocaine on there. They're agreeing with us with Sugar Free. Bodie James is super nice. Bodie James is real nice. Styles P, that's true. Jada.
Styles was nasty.
Now you got to talk about Jadakiss, because in that versus battle versus Dipset, and Dipset ain't no joke. I don't think people understand how pivotal that was for Dipset. For them,
but they not rappers.
Yeah, I look at them.
Cam's a rapper, but
I think all of them dudes, man, you got to look at them at one time. I think everybody, with the exception of probably Jimmy, was looked at as being real serious rappers. Now, Jim Jones, he stepped his stuff way up, you know what I mean? But he didn't step
I actually like Jim. Jim, my favorite.
Yeah, well, Jim Jones make great songs. I wouldn't put him in the top 5 and top 10 of no rappers, though. You know what I mean? Jim Jones is decent. You know what I mean? He cool. He not whack.
He's good at transmitting an idea and an image. You know, he can put an image out.
Exactly. Now, I ain't gonna say Jim Jones is whack, but he's not top 10. You got to definitely. I would almost put Styles P and Jada both in the top 10. Sheik Luch is nice.
I think Styles is fantastic. I
Oh yeah,
really like Styles.
Styles. Yeah, Styles is that guy. Now out of Styles and Jada, I think both of them is like both of them two dudes is the nucleus of the group. I think Sheik
Yeah,
Luch is nice. Sheik is nice, but I see Sheik Luch as being more of a top 25 type of guy.
it's easy to get lost in that group.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Styles, P, and Jada. So far we got Pusha T, we got Styles, P, Jada. Now, if you're talking about if we're making this list based off of all time, you got to put Cube in there. But if it's based on 2021, I don't know if Cube belongs in that, but you got to give Cube an honorable mention. Now, Cube, if it's of all time and you're looking at somebody's total body of work, man, Cube definitely would be in there. You know what I'm saying?
I got a couple random names for you from a West Coast perspective, just because that's kind of our base of our audience. And where do these guys fit in?
Is Earl Stevens one of them? E40?
No.
All right.
I have my take on him. I think that makes sense for sure. But there's two names that I feel like, because his name was going to come up anyway, two names that aren't going to come up is what do you think about Be Real? And because he's not a singer, he's a singer. He's a singer. But where the hell does Nate Dogg fit in? Because if you got Nate Dogg on a song for about 5 or 6 years, you were making money.
See,
what's his deal?
Yeah, Nate Dogg is definitely hip hop dog, but I don't know if you could put him on a 2021, the best of 2021 list.
For sure. But is he even a rapper? Is he not a rapper? What is he?
Well, a rapper singer. You feel what I'm saying? Because you can't say that Nate really wasn't spitting no bars, because at his time, Nate was the most dominant hook master out there. Whenever you had Nate Dogg on a record, it was guaranteed to do a certain amount. You was damn near guaranteed to have a platinum single if you had Nate Dogg on your stuff, But I don't know if Nate Dogg fits on this list because he is a singer. He's a part of hip hop, but I don't know if you would put him on the top 10 list.
He's the most hip hop singer ever to me.
Because if we go say that, we probably got to put Cocaine over Nate Dogg in a way, and I'm gonna tell you why. Cocaine actually raps too. I ain't never heard Nate Dogg bust no verse, but I don't heard Cocaine.
He don't need to.
Stuff. But the thing is, you got to keep rapping, kind of like singing, dog. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't put Nate in the hip hop list. You feel what I mean?
I would almost put Nate and R. Kelly in the same kind of world where they're R&B singers who had so much hip hop, and they could easily assimilate to so many hip hop tracks, but by themselves, like they were R&B singers.
But they still singers though, dog. They're not busting no bars. They song structure is even different. They when you writing in R&B, you writing 6-bar verses, 8-bar verses. It's not really, you know what I'm saying? You may say, you may have 2 8-bar verses, but say the bridge 2 or 3 times. You feel what I'm saying? So the song structure is way different. When you MC, you talking about 16-bar verses, 32-bar verses, and everything else. Now I know one thing that and it was weird about this. I think you got to count 40 in when you're talking about the West Coast, right? If you're talking about a top 10, top 15 rapper on strictly the West Coast, you got to say E40. But what I noticed about E40 is E40 stuff don't really go past. Like when you start talking about spots like Cleveland and stuff and Detroit, they don't really mess with 40 like that. You feel what I'm saying? I think it's just so different. And better late than never. The man of the hour.
Look at this fucking guy.
He's showing off his afro and brushing this thing. What's up, Glasses?
Awesome, man. Looking like
I lost my phone. So took me a minute. I apologize though.
It's all right,
man. It's all good. It's all good. The debate has been peaceful so far. So I think that peace is about to leave the room right now. So far, we've made valid arguments, right, for these different people. So far, in our top 10 list, we have Pusha T. And now this is in conjunction with the audience. Sugar Free.
Pusha T as far as what?
As one of the top 10 rappers.
Okay.
One of the top 10 rappers, Pusha T. Styles P and Jada. You got to put Jada in there because Jada went up there and destroyed Dipset all by herself pretty much.
Is that what happened?
It ain't just what I say happened. I don't go off what my personal opinion is. I go based off what I see, little bro.
This is a very purist criteria. I'm gonna say this is largely Steele's list, and I'm assessing the items on the list as we go.
No sales, record sales don't have nothing to do with it. And I'm gonna ask this for the fans, for the people out here. Do you guys think that record sales should have anything to do with the top list? And my man Harvester, sorry, he says Glasses always wants to argue. My man Harvester.
He's about to give us a higher learning. He looks like Cuba higher learning darn near right now.
Now, G, your thought has always been that record sales should have something to do with who's the best.
I mean, it's obvious.
Well, G, I'm gonna drop it to you like this, bro. You sell a decent amount of records, right? You sell decent records. You know, you make a living off of doing music.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that you're better than a whole bunch of people that sell more records than you. I don't know if record sales have anything to do with just your skills. I think it has a lot to do with who's marketing you, who's behind you.
Skills, though.
Because I'm gonna tell you like this: if Eminem would have never got with Dre, he would have just been Chino XL.
And that's production.
Still ask a question.
And I said that before, and I said it's a couple of rappers that's not getting put on here because their production is so bad. Like I've heard the last few Kool G rap albums, and he was saying some stuff that was incredibly lyrically still incredible, even 30 years later, right? But the production is so bad on there, it takes away from the song. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? You killed it right there. Now, if you put those Kool G raps behind some Dr. Dre beats of some, even Pete Rock beats, you feel what I'm saying?
I mean, the way I feel about it, what's funny is a week ago I had this conversation, and somebody was asking me because they was like, "Gee, you care about record sales too much." He asked me, "Did I think I was a better rapper than YG?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm not a better rapper, right? Am I a better MC? Maybe so. That's probably true. Am I a better rapper? No. Rappers make great rap songs. If you don't make great rap songs as a rapper, you know what I mean? Then it's a different conversation. I can MC a room. I can MC. You could drop the music. I could be in front of a crowd and rap and entertain the crowd just with what I'm saying. But
that's MC, bro. You got to give yourself that because CG, I guess from us coming from different eras, bro, the era I come up in didn't have nothing to do with no record sales or nothing. It was about who could rock the crowd, who can rock this MIC, who can rock the mic, dog, who can say some bars with or without music that would just like have everybody in there, ooh, ah. It's a whole bunch of popping rappers. Like I told somebody, if we
you were in the club in the late 1960s?
Yeah, man, no, you being crazy now. No, dog.
I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist.
I'm a 70s baby, but the thing is this, bro. If we base it on sales, that means Doja Cat gonna be the #1 rapper in hip hop? Like, yeah, no,
but again, everybody who raps doesn't mean they're in hip hop.
But that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't consider Doja Cat as a part of hip hop. I wouldn't consider.
Yeah, but Doja Cat is a mainstream rapper. That's the thing. Like you could have rappers now that's a part of mainstream artists now are rapping. Mainstream artists in his infancy was rapping. You know what I mean? Hell, you remember when Blondie came out. What's the lady name?
Deborah Harry.
Yeah, she was rapping. Feel me?
Yeah,
rapping
but you know what though? Deborah Harry was very much a part of that early infancy of hip hop. She actually, her doing that record Rappers Delight, dog, actually brought hip hop to another level. It brought it to the masses, kind of.
Yeah, she exposed it. But again, that don't mean she's a part of hip hop. That means she's a mainstream artist.
You can't say that she was a part of hip hop, dog. I think, but anytime she was hip hop enough to put Fab Five Freddy in her video, so she knew what was going on. You feel what I'm saying?
Sure. Madonna did the same thing. Yeah, Madonna did the same thing.
And Madonna's another person that had appreciation for hip hop, but they wasn't a part of the culture necessarily. Yeah. But they respected what it was enough to bring it. You feel what I'm saying? To utilize it. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. So the point I'm saying to you is, again, like. Even when you first was listening to hip hop, before I was alive, when you was just listening to it, right, and you was younger, it wasn't in its infancy about bars. That was something that came in the late 80s. Before that, you start talking about, Rappers Delight or Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. The message, it was about the story, and it wasn't necessarily. It was about the rap songs. And then as the Rakim era came along, and all of that stuff, I think they started making it more about the bars.
Let's go back to that a little bit because the message is possibly the single greatest hip hop song of all time. If you listen to lyrics that transcended for some guys that wrote it in the 70s, dog, to now, A child is born with no state of mind. He was blind to the ways of mankind. God is smiling on you, but he's frowning too, because only God knows what you will go through. Those are very profound lyrics for whether it's 1979, 1985, 2021, 2022. They transcend time. And that's what we talked about. To me, when I talk about an MC, is a guy that could transcend time. Like when you put out Tupac Must Die, it was so misunderstood that people got caught up in their emotions, was mad at you instead of listening to the lyricism of it, right? Hip hop has always been about storytelling, conveying emotions, and eliciting a response. That's what made NWA so great. That's what made Tupac so great. And all of these guys share the same qualities. And I don't never get those qualities. Like I've never gotten that from a Jay-Z song. You feel what I'm saying? Jay-Z has said some dope stuff. Now, from a hustling standpoint, I've heard some of the stuff that Jay has said, dog, and he detailed the life of a hustler probably greater than anyone else outside of Scarface ever did. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, I feel what you're saying.
Yeah, you know. So you saying Scarface greater than Jay's greater than Scarface?
I think Jay-Z is, one of the greatest probably rappers ever. I think it's always going to be hard for Snoop Dogg to be top as a great. Snoop is the pinnacle of hip hop.
Yeah, he is. Snoop
He's
is
everything that hip hop can be. Period. So you only reach Snoop Dogg level. There's no surpassing it. You only could reach where he's at. So has Jay-Z reached that pinnacle? Sure. Like, culturally to represent, urban experience of selling drugs on the corner and seeing it go for that is crazy.
See,
you know
now
what I mean?
you're going...
but songs like Allure or songs like Never Change are like super culturally revealing if you hustle.
Yeah, now we have to very much look at the difference between an MC and a rapper. You feel what I'm saying? The MC, he may not never have the sales that a rapper has, man. Like to me, Guilty Simpson is MC. Guilty Simpson is MC. You feel what I'm saying?
I think every rapper is an MC now, as they are as good as other MCs is a different question.
No, every rapper can't get, like we saying, we going back to Doja Cat. Now we going back to
Doja Cat's MC. Is she as great of an MC as greater MCs? No, but she's very much an MC. She can rap. Like it's not totally voided. It's just not as great as, let's say a Lil Kim or let's say Queen Latifah.
Lil Kim. When you start talking about Lil Kim, Queen Latifah, Remy Ma, even somebody said that Safari was writing Nicki's raps, but I was like, Safari ain't done shit since he ain't been with Nicki, so I'm not gonna give him Nicki's credit. You feel what I'm saying?
You said who?
Somebody in the audience that said that Safari was writing Nicki Minaj's raps.
I saw Nicki write her own raps.
Yeah, I think Nicki.
I don't know if Safari did write some songs, but I watched Nicki write her raps.
And see,
I got a question for you.
Huh?
We were talking earlier before you got on. There seems to be a perpendicular relationship, so to speak. It's certainly alinear between like pure bar MCs and record sales. There are not many people who do both. Usually the better you are revered as like a great MC, your record sales don't usually tend to match that. They kind of go askew. And also just kind of like from a production standpoint, like how do you just, kind of separate in your opinion, like as a parallel to like say like what happened with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. A couple of years ago, no, it's like, oh, it's all Bill. Brady's just there on the team, whatever. And then he leaves and Bill doesn't make the playoffs and Brady wins the Super Bowl. And now Brady's the greatest. So
listen, I understand that everybody wants to debate record sales. Record sales is rings, man. Plaques is rings. Like all that shit niggas talk about because they like somebody that don't got rings. That don't mean shit. The world will tell you who they regard as a great rapper. The world will tell you. So my personal opinion is a lot different than the world's opinions. The world will say, hey, we like this person as a rapper. We like this MC. They'll tell you. They'll support them by exchanging their hard-earned money, right, for that music. It's the truth.
I can't agree with you, bro, because some people have the opportunity, and you know this, bro. A person that's putting out their records on their own dollar, dog, is never going to be able to match those buildings, what those buildings are doing for people. When they
But
have a
then, but
whole,
that's like saying as a fan of the
let me,
NBA,
let me,
right, or basketball, that
let me,
some
let me
nigga that
land on
never
something real
made
quick,
it
bro.
pro, right?
Just let me land on this, bro. Let me
Go ahead.
land on what I'm. Let me finish what I'm gonna
Go
do.
ahead.
Let me
No,
finish
my
saying
bad.
what
Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna say. So the thing is, bro, when you have a whole department and a whole department dedicated to ensure your success, dog, it makes a difference. When you have a whole division of people, dog, out there just pushing the line with something, right? They have radio drops. They spend. You know how much money costs for radio, dog. Radio is still a very big component of all this. Or these record labels wouldn't be spending millions of dollars a year on it, bro. When you have somebody that's being pushed versus somebody that's being not, of course, that person that's being pushed is going to be able to be more in front of eyes of more people.
Then that person that we comparing them to, go ahead, Pete.
I'll say, I mean, to some extent, also you have to say, well, these multi-million, $500 conglomerate machines are sitting back, and if they really want to, they can make an offer and buy any fucking body. It's very, very rare there's something that they could call and make an offer to whoever, and they wouldn't take it if they wanted it. So they're assessing the landscape and going, okay, for whatever reason, that guy has a sound that 100 million people are going to want to hear potentially. Get me that guy. That guy over there might write better, but nobody want to hear him. I think that's, I mean, you have to consider it from that perspective as well.
I mean, again, I think that's a cop-out. Like, right, if you playing indie ball, if you playing at the park, you could be the best nigga that hooped at the park, but if you ever, to be the best ever, you got to hit the pros. So again, this ain't a conversation for niggas that's independent. You know what I mean? As being one of the greatest MCs.
How come it's not? Benny the Butcher was independent for like 2 years, dog. But Benny the Butcher, huh?
I don't care. The hell that mean?
Benny the Butcher is still one of the nicest rappers that's out right now, dog.
Sure, I understand you could revere his MCing ability, but to be in a conversation of great, it requires people to agree at a large scale and support the content. Without people agreeing in unison,
that's kind of what I was trying to get at indirectly.
They would kind of have to hear it though, bro. In order for you to fully,
the reason they're not hearing it is because it lacks greatness.
Well, there's scouts to a degree in the parallel for sports. There's scouts out there.
There's a ton of independent records that became global smashes. This is the truth, and you know it. There's tons of independent records that become great and huge records. Well, you could like somebody.
Well, like Lil Flip was the freestyle king of Houston and all that shit. And Mr. Independent and all those guys, all the Screw SUC team was all independent. Somebody was like, you know what, that Flip guy, I can make $1 bazillion off of him, and they wrote him a big ass check, and he took it.
And now Benny is signed, right? Benny been signed really, but Benny's signed now, right? Griselda was signed to Eminem, Benny signed to Def Jam. So you know all the excuses you making at that point, you actually finna get put to the test.
I'm not making excuses, bro.
I'm saying because you was just making excuses. You saying the reason he wasn't as
what I'm saying is, and other people obviously agree with me because, like you said, he has a situation. You feel what I'm saying? Now,
they've always had a situation.
And even when you look at somebody like Eminem, dog, I think Eminem. Some people don't like Eminem just because he's a white dude, but Eminem is one of the coldest.
I get the same problem.
You crazy, Pete. But Eminem is nice, though, dog. Eminem is nice, but without Dr. Dre, Eminem is just Chino XL. Chino XL is one of the nicest MCs ever.
So then at that point, then you're not in the race. Like by that same, we could all pull an MC out of our ass and say, hey, we like this person. And again, the conversation of the best MC is very much a preferential conversation. It's all preferential. Somebody said that Lil Wayne don't write nothing. Like Lil Wayne come up and he go in a booth and figure this shit out. Like I watched him do it.
Now I agree with this right here.
Hours upon hours.
Now I agree with this right here. The nigga said that the #1 rapper this year is Nas. You gotta almost make an argument with Nas for that. Nas has put out probably 3 albums this year, dog. Like dope albums, quality albums, dog.
I ain't heard one of them.
If we was gonna be honest, we need to really be talking about Moneybagg.
Moneybagg Yo?
Yeah, that's really and again, it ain't about who you prefer.
And I'm not mad at me. You see, I didn't argue with you when you said Moneybagg.
I'm saying because like if people not really considering the songs that the world or the rap songs that the world is rapping in unison, and it's not a real conversation. Because I could name somebody I like this year and just be like, this nigga was dope. And then there we go. We got 30,000 niggas talking about a whole bunch of shit that really we could never agree on.
It's a little bit more deeper than that, bro. I don't think.
No, it's
I
not.
think
No, it's not.
when you
Niggas
start
be
talking
pulling
about
random niggas out that they like, and this nigga dope, or
no,
this nigga
see,
dope, or this nigga dope, and
the
they be
thing
pulling
is,
niggas
bro.
out their ass.
So the thing is like this. Like we said, sugar free. Sugar free may be it may be somebody right now in Boston. Like, who the hell is Sugar Free? Why the hell would they put him up there? I can't stand him, but Sugar Free is nice. Have you ever heard a song that Sugar Free featured on that he wasn't the best dude on the track?
At minimum, just as good as whoever the best dude was if he wasn't.
That's what I'm saying. And he's been on some tracks with some heavyweight people, like the dudes that he's been on tracks with can rap. You feel what I'm saying?
Sure, but I wouldn't also go on the record to say Sugar Free is the greatest MC in the world, or Sugar Free is the greatest rapper in the world. Even
There's
though
a
I
reason
think,
it didn't
bar
transcend.
none, right? He literally is probably, there's not a person rapping that could out rap him, right? You couldn't get on a rap song with him and do better. He can do as good as anybody that I've ever heard rap.
That's the truth.
If you put him with the right production, he can make a record, right? He has independent records that are fantastic. So if you give him those records, it's great. But I also can't make the argument that he's the greatest rapper ever, because there are things you have to achieve at the professional level to truly be in that conversation. Personally, Sugar Free is one of my favorite. He's on my new single coming out next month.
Let me ask you a question real quick. And without maybe being too critical, you know, I understand like the relationships and whatnot, just being kind of loosely objective.
Sure.
In real time, you know, obviously he got locked up, I think, between first and second album, if memory serves. But aside from that, like, it's as interesting as he is to listen to, because he's like probably my favorite pure rapper. Just like if you were to take the music off, like I could just listen to him talk about a cup of coffee for an hour and a half, and I'd be like, that's fantastic. But what do you think it was that, in your opinion, prevented any major industry heavyweight from calling him up and saying, hey, I'm going to offer you X million dollars to come do this 2-shot deal or whatever the hell it would have been, however it works in that world?
Still, no, they turned it down. They turned down a couple deals.
That was an interesting choice.
Well, you know, the thing is, and I'm going to tell you about the dynamic of a deal. Some people turn down deals because deals for some people ain't the best scenario. See, what people don't understand, when you take a record deal, you got a room full of people that don't know shit about your craft or your culture telling you what kind of records you need to be making.
Yeah.
G, you know that? Am I right, G, or am I wrong?
Say that again.
When you agree to sign to a record deal, you agree to let a group of people into your world that know nothing about the culture, pretty much telling you what kind of records you need to make.
It used to be like that. It's now everybody think they know all this shit. You listen to people talk and they act like, because they looking on the internet or social media, they think they know. Like, I listened to somebody who never been in Los Angeles tell me about gangs. He was telling me about Crips and Bloods, and they'll argue you down, and you be like, and I can't be upset because they feel like they're informed based off of what the mainstream opinion on the internet is. So I don't really get upset. Again, the whole conversation of the best rapper, best is very subjective.
Yeah, it is subjective at the end of the day. And like my list, we can all put a top 10 list out today. Like me, like I told Peter earlier, if you're talking about the best rappers of all time up to 2021 or the best rappers in 2021, that's two totally different lists, because any list that I ever put out is always going to have Ice Cube in the top 10. Even though the records he putting out today kind of been like, I'm not really tripping off of them like that, because I'm used to a different Ice Cube. I like the America's Most Wanted Cube and that era of Ice Cube. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just two different eras to me,
To
dog.
me, if you gonna have a top 5 conversation today of who the best rappers were this year, right? You have to put Moneybagg in the top 5. You have to put Drake in the top 5. You have to put Nas somewhere in that top 5. It's certain people you have to put because the rest of the world, right, has agreed that they are great, and that's why they support them. Again, we could always wipe it off with marketing. We could always say this person was marketed better. Well, that's because whatever they're doing is more marketable. It's easy to kind of write off every excuse about why you're not being successful or why other people are being successful.
All right, G, I'm gonna let you answer this question because you actually know Weezy. We both know him, but you know him real good.
Wayne could have. No, dog. He like the reason I know he wasn't doing that, dog. We'll be talking about something. He could rap what we're just talking about in multiple lyrics. Like I'm watching him get beats right on the spot, flipping them in 5 or 10 minutes on the spot. See, the thing about having a ghostwriter, like right, or you pre-writing your bars, at times it'll come across like how a lot of Nas stuff used to early on, where you could tell it was wrote in a notepad first, and then they're fitting it to the music. Wayne rapped over so many diverse things. You know what I'm saying? Wayne rapped over so many diverse beats and West Coast beats, Southern beats, East Coast beats, and all of them were custom made for the flow. Nobody was writing his stuff. He don't
See,
even write it.
I think people keep going back to when Gilly made mention of
Gilly
that
is
he had
full
did
of
some,
shit. And I
you
love
don't
Gilly
think-
with all my heart, but that's some bullshit. Gilly know that's some bullshit. He know that little nigga is tough.
yeah,
That
you
little
know
nigga
what though?
tough, man. They say what they want to about Wayne. That little nigga is tough, man. That little nigga get busy.
Yeah, well, you know what I was gonna say, man, is if Gilly did meet Wayne, Wayne had to be about 16 or 17 at that time. And I think, see, that's the one thing about hip hop is everybody runs across that one mentor that helps them tighten their stuff up. You feel what I'm saying? Everybody has that dude. And to me, unless you're talking about a dude writing 36 bars or something for you, dog, in all your songs, I think we just in the era now to where cats really just trying to find hits, G. And
No, I
everybody got a
agree,
team, bro. Everybody got a team.
but somebody said Drake never. It's like, if you said Drake never, you don't understand rap.
Yeah, at this
Like
point, especially
anybody that's a fucking
2021.
rapper, whoever you think is dope will tell you that little light. Now, I'm not saying Drake is a part of hip hop. I'm not even saying he's a part of the culture. And me and you disagree on that a lot. But as a rapper, man, it's hard to top him, man. That little nigga, that little light-skinned Canadian motherfucker get busy, man. He can rap.
Yeah, he do. And
Rap
then
your
with
ass
the thing,
under a fucking table.
and with the thing that people have to understand too about that is even if somebody is writing for you, you still have to deliver that with conviction and belief to where people is really fucking with it.
Yeah,
Because see,
and I think in Drake's situation, again, all of these things are related to him not being a part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I never would compare him to a Jay-Z or compare him to a Lil Wayne or compare Drake to other artists that are of the culture.
now see, I agree with this right here. What my boy Hop Harris said. He says the element of being the best, you got to beat someone. Who
It's
is
not
Wayne
true.
went to work with? He never showed that skill set. And see, one thing I feel him on that G because see, one thing about it, you got to remember when I was coming up, LL was that super dude. Every challenge that LL was met on with, he faced it head on.
I think
Who was
again, y'all
challenging
basing
Lil Wayne in
I think y'all
2008?
basing everything off of Eastern, like I always call it an Eastern way of life, where y'all think the way they work in the East Coast is the way all rap. Snoop never had to battle nobody.
But Snoop did have his battles doing was successful
Who?
at defending his crown.
Who did he
The
battle?
whole thing was ruthless. He started his career off battling Easy in him.
No, that's Dr. Dre battling Eazy-E.
Yeah, and Snoop was there with the assist.
But again, he's not a part of it. We can go down a list of great rappers who
And not
didn't
saying
have
that
to
them
battle.
was just, and not just saying that they got to be all out beef, but the whole part of the element of hip hop, dog, is battling and
No, that's
roasting
something
somebody.
that came in. That's something that came in. Hip hop in its infancy is just a party. That's all
What?
it
Oh
ever
yeah, for
was.
sure. Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
then
But
we and then we
it always
introduced.
was about who was the best, though. G, who had the best
No,
words, who said the
that's
best
what
shit.
being. That's where
That's the
MCing
MC
started going
versus
to another
rapper
level.
conversation.
Yeah. Like again,
Hey,
I think y'all making it something you want to be because you like those moments.
What? Gee, oh, still too. You guys are both know. Like from in that little hot window, maybe what was it, maybe 2007 to 2013 or whatever, when every song you heard anywhere you went was a Lil Wayne song. What credible challenger was trying to battle Wayne that he was running from?
No, I think Wayne was liked by everybody. I don't think Wayne never had no problem, but Wayne was nice, dog. You can't dispute that. And
But
it's
there's
like
always
it's
going to be
different.
somebody who's going to want to mention your name or try to start some shit with you for their own career arc.
Yeah.
Wait, but you know who
No one
nobody
was
ever,
running up on Wayne.
but y'all know who nobody ever mentions, dog. And he's nice. Rick Ross is real nice, dog.
Rick Ross is in my top 5.
Yeah, I think Rick Ross was
He
definitely
never
a top
really
5
battled.
cats.
I don't think he battled nobody.
No, the thing is though, he did
He
have
and
his
50
mix.
had that little thing.
Him and 50 had their thing at their time, and that's when 50 was hot as fish grease, dog. And and you got to remember what Wayne,
They beat up
Ross
Gunplay.
and you got to remember what Ross had to get out. When I thought it was over with for Ross when they came out with that picture of him being the CEO. Remember, I went over your house. I said, "Man, look at this shit, dog." I said, "Man, it's over with for Buddy." I said, "How can you?" And he still stuck to the music, dog, and just made better music than with 50 at that time, dog. 50 had to bow out of that gracefully.
But again, he wasn't battling nobody. What's funny is when I look at my top 5, right? Like Jay-Z is in my top 5 all time. He didn't win a battle. Don't change that he's one of the greatest rappers to ever grace fucking hip hop, period.
And see, don't get me wrong. I've bought every album that Jay-Z has ever dropped, dog. I even like 444.
If
Remember
sales
you
don't matter, then why do you keep saying you bought an album?
No, but listen, I'm just saying, I appreciate his artwork. I appreciate his art, dog. And I buy a whole bunch of niggas' records. Like me, I support, like me, nobody, the rappers I like, nobody in here probably even know. Like I think K Reno was definitely one of the top 10 rappers of all time. K Reno, bar for bar, is better than everybody to me. Or just about.
Again, best and great are two different things. Best is all preferential. Great is impact and measurable. So when we start saying is Jay-Z overrated, that's crazy. He's the proven pudding. Whatever you think at that point don't matter because he's proven.
In 3 minutes, in 3 minutes and 50 seconds, who's the top 10 list of people that everybody thinks is great that you don't think is great?
That's a great fucking.
That's the one right there. Who's really not great, but they say is great?
That who I think is not great. Well, think about it. Like, it ain't that many people that people say is great. Who would I think is not great? Who do I think? Okay, so if I had to say somebody's overrated, I think Dirk is overrated.
Okay.
Dirk. I think Lil Durk is great.
Of today's era.
I think he's more for the younger cats, though, bro. I like Lil Durk.
I don't care. You said it's either somebody great or they not. Like Chief Keef is fantastic.
Our thoughts, man. I'm an older dude. I'm 50 years old, dog. My list and Christopher's list that's my son. For those that don't know,
I'm just saying. Again, I'm not mad at none of that. I'm just telling you. He asked me who did I think that I felt like they get this great tag and I don't see it. So if I go back into the 80s, who did I think wasn't great? That was getting considered great
in the 80s.
I don't think I really thought nobody wasn't really good in the 80s,
dog. It wasn't a whole bunch of choices like this. I would always say, like shout out to my man Free for the World. Rakim to me is always gonna be one of the greatest MCs, dog. He revolutionized hip hop. Without him, everybody would still be rapping like hip to hop, to hip to hip to hip hop. You don't.
That's not what the message is.
That's not even true.
That's not what the message was. Like I hate when y'all do that.
That was the greatest song. That's what I'm saying.
I get it that y'all love Ra, bro. Ra is fucking fantastic. But y'all gotta stop with this shit.
No, bro, you gotta stop with it.
LL wasn't doing that. LL wasn't doing that. I respect the margin style. But bro, that's not the only style of rap.
The style innovation in the sector over the course of time, you could see when it hit a new city or a new region. It was radically different.
I don't understand, G. You younger than me, G. You younger than me too, Peter. I don't understand y'all. I understand y'all not understanding, bro. I understand. Y'all was riding around eating popsicles or something like that when all this stuff came out.
It's the George Michael conversation.
Check this out. When I first heard Thinking of a Master Plan, it ain't nothing but sweat inside my hands while I reach into my pockets, all my money spent. When I first heard that, I thought it was the most incredible stuff ever. When I first heard Chuck D come with what he came with, I thought it was the most. You got to remember, I was around for a lot of firsts, bro. To hear these records, dog, when I first heard NWA, I knew it was something special. It was something I've never heard before. In 2021, it ain't too much that I haven't heard before, bro, because I heard it all done before. But I heard from where it originated from, dog.
Honestly,
dog. People like, look, let me tell you this. People like Rakim, people like KRS-One, people like Melly Mel, they revolutionized hip-hop. Then the next evolution came when Bone Thugs and Harmony and 3 6 Mafia.
Listen, I understand that New York-centric way of thought. I totally get it, because that's how you heard him sing from in Cleveland is New York, New York.
Same way West Coast cats did out
Yeah,
here
but
in
it's not.
California.
I've always thought DOC was as great, if not a greater MC than Rakim.
Oh, come on now, bro. DOC is great, but he's not no Rakim.
Yeah, he's that great.
Was influenced.
No,
Gee, that's
he's
like
that
asking
great.
what came first, with the chicken or the egg, dog. DOC is
They
great.
both
I'm
was
not
around
disputing
87,
that,
88, 89. What are you talking about?
No, dog.
Let me ask
What are you talking about?
Rakim came out way before DOC.
No, he
dog.
didn't.
Come on, man. Yes, he did.
No, he
did. That
didn't.
was a long time before, dog. Yes,
No.
he was, dog.
Rise
Gee,
in
I was in high
87.
school. Gee, I was in high school when Rakim came out, dog. How you gonna tell me about like, dog? You wrong.
When
You
is
are wrong
Rock
on
first
this
record
one.
then?
I'll tell you right now. Hold on.
I got time. I think the
Let me
doc.
show you.
Okay, here's one. I'll put one on the two of you. You want to talk about like the mid '80s or something like that? Real early guys who really just were like, "Whoa, what the hell? That's not like anybody else." Who never gets mentioned and is on the wall in the entrance to your place is fucking Ice-T.
Oh, Ice-T for sure. Ice-T
Of
for
course, we
sure.
ain't
Don't
gonna give
give him
no
enough
props for
credit.
that. Go ahead. He's from the West Coast, so they ain't gonna get no prop. But keep going. Go ahead.
But that's all I'm saying. Like,
Give me
somebody
Rock.
would have.
Give me
If
Rock.
Rakim didn't exist, you don't think Ice-T would have done that?
I think DOC was always as great of a rapper as Rakim, even though he didn't get the same respect because his voice went bad.
Dog, Paid in Full came out in 1987.
Okay. When did
When
NWA
did-
came out?
When Ice-T came out?
Man, you hold on. We talking about Rakim and the DOC.
Okay. When did NWA and the Posse come out?
G telling me the DOC had a impact that Rakim had. And the
I did
NWA
that. See how you just lied? You just did
said
some
that.
bullshit
You
shit like
said he
women
had
do.
the-
I did not say he had the same impact.
See, these people out here, we got a lot of people in this room right now. Did Glasses just not say that the DOC was as great as Rakim?
I just literally said
Great and impact are not the same thing.
are not the same thing.
NWA and the Posse. I'm about to show you. NWA and the Posse came out in 88, I believe, G.
No,
Rhyme pays Ice-T 87.
87. Straight out of
Why is you
Compton.
bringing, hold on, how is y'all coming out with Ice-T? Like,
Because
nobody
I'm
disputes
proving a
Ice-T.
point about innovation in the genre.
That's true.
And Ice-T wasn't as innovative as Rakim was. He was innovative, though. He was innovative as hell.
I think DOC was as innovative as Rakim is.
No, you wrong, bro.
The DOC style is a one-off style that has never been repeated. Niggas wouldn't dare try to rhyme like Doc, dog.
And the Doc is the man, G. I'm not disputing that, but you could
No. Doc is the man like Rakim is the man without the credit. And I get it. It's cool. I think Doc was so far ahead of MCs, you feel me, as far as how he rapped, how he styled his raps, and it was totally unique. I'm not saying Rakim ain't nasty, but I think a lot of y'all look at Rakim completely different.
NWA and the Posse came out in 87, G, but that's not where DOC really got his shine from, though.
Okay, here's one for you. Two Live Crew, 86. Two Live Crew didn't change the game. Two Live Crew wasn't revolutionary.
Listen, hold on, Pete. You talking from a whole different perspective now, because not saying that white folks can't be involved in hip hop, though, but you are correct in the sense, because I'm gonna tell you this: a lot of people don't know this. The South's whole sound is based on the sound that was the West Coast's originally. Mr. Mix went down to Miami and started doing that Miami bass stuff just based off of what LA had going on at the time, and that's where it came from.
I'm talking about spontaneous disruptors. Just purely
they
that.
were very much spontaneous disruptors, because wasn't nobody messing with Two Live Crew, and they went on to sell gazillions of records. It was big. It was pivotal for the time.
Listen, as a
You
rapper
gotta
and as
give
an
them their place in
MC,
hip hop.
as a rapper and as an MC, when I listen to Doc in them late 80s, like Rock came out in them late 80s, both of their styles are literally peak styles. It just don't. Again, when I'm saying Doc, is Doc going to be as revered as Rakim? No, he got into a car accident and lost his voice. But if you just talk about rhyming, right? If you talk about Paid in Full and you talking about No One Does It Better, that's top tier MCing equal.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. But I'm just telling you, bro, it's like comparing. I'm trying to think of the proper analogy, man. When Rakim first came out, dog, it was like you listened to an alien rap or something, dog. It was like you would listen to an alien rap. Now, when DOC came out, dog, I felt them things like, this dude is just incredible. He was incredible,
and it was nothing that nobody else could do. It was an alien.
Rakim, and without no Rakim, I guarantee you it wouldn't have been a DOC, dog.
DOC came out the same time Rakim came out.
No, Rakim was a little bit earlier than him.
No,
Dog.
they both in 87.
But Dio's when you talk about impact, that didn't have as big an impact as Rakim's did.
I didn't tell him again what I said, Pete. Did I say that? No, I didn't.
That's correct. Greater and impactful were in fact different words then, and they are still.
So again, I'm saying, when you say greatness.
Hold on, let me put this disclaimer out here. DOC is one of my favorite rappers of all time.
Don't try to do that.
No, I've had Doc. I don't interview Doc a couple of times. He is one of my favorite. He's one of my
if you heard the formula, if you heard the formula,
I heard the formula. Actually, own the formula.
The formula is as great of a record as every last Rakim record ever, from every standpoint.
Come on, G. Come on.
I got a question. When you're does in real time?
Doc will disagree with you on that himself, dog.
Now I'm asking both of you guys a question. Hold up. Does the geographical proximity of being in New York at that time and being able to spur up and spin off and all that other type of stuff amplify the perception of the impact and the influence of Rakim, whereas DLC was out of Dallas going to LA, and there just really simply wasn't the infrastructure and the industry around him to be able to point to 25 artists that were out there trying to copycat him?
Listen, Rob very much gets the credit he deserves. All the credit he deserves. He very much is an innovator. Rod gets a lot of credit, but I'm not going to take nothing. Ra, L, and Rap and Kane are the fathers of modern day MCing. You know, pre-trap music coming to take over. But before that, they were the father of modern day MCing. But again, it's also rooted because everything is built around New York when it comes to hip hop. The point
MC 2.0.
Yeah, but when you hear Doc, right, and you hear Doc rap, you've never heard anything greater. That's the point I'm saying. Like, and this is coming from a person who prides himself in being an MC in quality. If you hear what Doc does, no matter, Still is a great MC. Still knows. None of us could do what Doc do. None of us could actually do. Doc is one of the hardest niggas.
And I would tell you this, dog, and I'm gonna give Doc this. If Doc wouldn't have gotten a car accident, dog, we would be having a whole different discussion. It would probably be a whole different conversation because Doc he revolutionized the flow. You feel what I'm saying? He revolutionized the flow to where it wasn't as it maybe wasn't as bouncy as like what Bone Thugs was doing and everything into it, but it was crazy. And his skills as a writer. But listen to this though. This is something that comes out of Rakim's Wikipedia.
Shout out to G-Rock for the super chat. Good love, G-Rock, Eric B, Rakim. And well, see, that's the thing. To say that Doc is in 89 is to discredit the stuff he did with NWA and the Posse. It's to disrespect the things he did with NWA Straight Outta Compton. It's to disrespect the things he did with Eazy-E's first album. It's to disrespect what all of that. It's he was around before that. Eric B was exposed faster. Big Still can rap really good. That's why I'm surprised at him saying, as an MC, the Doc is not as nice as Rakim.
No, I didn't. Gee, listen to what I said. I said, now this is what I'm saying right here. Rapper Kool Moe Dee explained that before Rakim, the term flow wasn't widely used. Rakim is basically the inventor of flow. We were not even using the word flow until Rakim came along. It was called rhyme and it was called a cadence, but it wasn't called flow. Rakim created flow. And that's what I'm saying. CG, I got to look at it as a certain in a different position slightly than you. We saying the same stuff, but a little different because me being around and seeing the emergence of hip hop music, dog, I know what stuff was before Rakim came, right? Outside of the message. Now, the message is the greatest record. I can't name a greater record than the message, bro. That was Lightning by Will Smith. Oh, and I said that earlier too. I said that earlier, didn't I say that, Peter?
Yeah, that's why I started laughing.
I said that earlier. That's one of the greatest rap records ever made.
That's a fantastic record.
But it's a little different, right? Because Rakim don't have a record that great. He don't have a record that's as great as Summertime.
No.
You feel what I'm saying?
Sure,
probably no one in hip hop. It's gonna be hard for somebody to get a record in hip hop that's gonna top Summertime.
But that should be all of our goals.
You feel what I'm saying? Because that's something that still plays today. That when all generations get together, when I'm with my pops, and when I'm with my moms, and when I'm with my kids, and we all in the same house, and they play that song, everybody is jamming to that mug.
Dear Mama is right there. Dear Mama is one of those songs. Record. Back
It's a
That
great
Ass
record.
Up by Juvenile was one of those songs.
Yeah, that's a song that's probably gonna be played out from here to eternity.
For the rest
you
of
know?
our
Yeah.
life.
For the
I
rest
mean,
of our life.
but
Back
again,
That Ass Up.
I'm not taking nothing from rock. You could never take nothing from what New York did for the rest of the country as far as hip hop goes. But I do think there's a slighted perspective at times from people. Like, would I say DOC was influenced by Rakim? I think at a time you had to be influenced by Rakim.
Yeah,
But
and
what
listen to what they say.
DOC did is completely different than
And
what
listen to what
any
they saying
other
about
MC
Rakim.
before him and after him could ever do.
See, you gotta
DOC is
understand.
like Kareem, dog. Like, you don't see centers in the NBA shooting hook shots. You just don't see it.
Gee, you gotta understand something though, dog. Rakim is almost universally accepted as like one of the greatest MCs, perhaps the greatest of all time. If you ask any rapper, dog, like from Eminem on down to J and M,
If
they
you
gonna
ask
tell
Glasses
you.
Malone, he gonna tell you that.
Yeah, and another dude that people don't give the credit to enough is Big Daddy Kane. Big Daddy Kane had a
I
flow that
literally
was
just
all
said the father of the modern MC,
Big
pre-trap
Daddy.
music is Kane, LL, Ra, and I think G-Rap don't get enough credit, but that's a whole nother
You say
story. But I
one,
think
though? You
it's
said Karis
LL.
one?
Yeah, G-Rap is definitely one of the most dangerous dudes on that microphone ever. I just think with G-Rap, he didn't have them great songs. You feel what I mean?
Who
Like
did
as
Ra
far as,
battle?
huh?
Who did Ra battle?
Man, it was almost like him and Big Daddy Kane had beef back in the day.
Did they battle?
No, they didn't. The battle never went down.
Also, could he be on the list even though he didn't battle?
No, but dog, we talking about a whole different battling. Was definitely he probably battled somebody in the back bar room
Well,
somewhere.
you don't know
dog.
about a battle he won.
No, I don't know about a battle he won.
It was like who? It was like who did
Tyson?
Tyson knock out in his fourth fight? He beat him
who
so
did
bad
Tyson
you
beat?
forgot who it was.
That's what I'm saying.
So you saying
Rakim
Rakim is more like Mike Tyson?
No, Rakim is
No, I'm
better than
saying
Mike
the
Tyson,
guys
dog.
that Rakim beat got beat so bad it ended their career. I got a
Rakim
question.
beat-
I feel like in general speak, like I would listen to some of the clubhouses you were on and stuff like that. You get a handful of them from New York. I feel like there's two parts as to why so much of the New York bias as far as the criticism exists today and trying to assess the history of the game. It's like, I don't know if you feel the same way. On the one hand, I feel like your average Joe New Yorker feels like they're an in part equity holder in the culture because I was in New York, so I was part of that. So I'm an in-kind contributor to the thing at large. So they have an emotional commitment. But I also feel like a lot of people like to do like purists in sports where, I'm going to say so-and-so from back before you were aware of it is the greatest ever because you can't disprove it because you weren't there and because it goes to show the breadth of my history. So it makes me as the speaker sound more knowledgeable by going through this laundry list of older, obscure, artists, because at that point I can say, yeah, I've been listening to this shit for 45 years, because I get that impression when I hear certain people talk. Not steal, because it's just coincidental. I'm not trying to throw that at you.
Well, the thing is, I think that New York in a way does feel like they're the godfathers of hip hop because they are. It came from over there. Yeah. But I think everybody else definitely added their own flavor to it to let it become what it's become, because now, you got the West Coast that added their flavor into it. Then you had the Midwest, and then you got the South. And really, to be honest with you, the South got a stronghold on hip hop that ain't going nowhere no time soon.
Yeah. And that makes sense.
So you can almost say, and then when you talk about rappers, the South has a bunch of rappers too. Like you look at Scarface. With Scarface, he's still putting out incredible music to this day. That song "God" is one of the where he's talking about God is one of the greatest hip hop songs I ever heard. You know the joint I'm talking about, G?
Mm.
It's a banana song. Just his concept, because Scarface is probably one of the most he's underratedly probably one of the most intellectual rappers that we have, dog.
Scarface is, if God was a rapper, he'd be God. He'd be Scarface.
Yeah, like Scarface is like
if God has a favorite artist in hip hop, it'd be Scarface.
Yeah, Scarface is dope, though. Like Scarface is probably my favorite of all time, to be honest.
The way y'all feel about Rakim, and Rakim probably Scarface feels the same way about Rakim, is the way I feel about Scarface.
Well, surprisingly, when I talked to Brad, you know who he told me his favorite MC was?
What's that?
Cube. And he
That
said, I told Scarface, I made the mistake of telling Scarface he was my favorite rapper. He said, "Oh, come on, dog." He said, "Cube." When he started reciting Cube's rhymes, it made me feel good for hip
Well, you
hop.
got to think Cube is 86, 87 as well.
Yeah, Cube. Yeah, Cube is that dude, and that's why I always tell people when they get to talking about Cube as being who he is now, I say, "Dog, don't sleep on
The
Cube."
the most disrespected great rapper of all time, you feel me, is LL Cool J.
Yeah, LL did this stuff.
Like the way y'all treat LL, the way people
Don't say
talk about
y'all.
Rakim, the way y'all treat LL is just shameful. I'm so every time I get so upset when I hear people talk about New York rap or they talk about Ra or Kane or Mo D or Nas, and it's like, bro, L is the father of this shit. Like New York swag is LL Cool J. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if it ain't Run DMC, it's LL Cool J. Like he showed us and told us what it was like to be a real New Yorker. And it was nobody before him that could show him how to do it the way he did it.
All right, G, let's get down to it, dog. Who is your top 10 rappers? And you
My
got
top 10 or the top 10?
Like, yo, I want to be from your top 10, dog. Your top 10.
Mine is different than the top 10.
Yeah, well, say it then. Let's get it then.
So if I had to pick a 10. So let's say this. Let's go 6 through 10, right? You got Cube. 6 through 10 is Cube, is Wayne, is Cube, Wayne, is Bone, is Cube, Wayne, Bone, is Cube, Wayne, Bone, Big, only because he didn't have a lot of material. And Pac. They would be that's my 6 through 10. My 1 through 5 is going to be Snoop, Jay, Face, Ye, and Ross. So 1 through 5 is, like I said, you could put them in. Scarface would probably be my guy. Scarface, Dog, Jay, Ye, Ross, Cube, Wayne, Bone, Pac, and Big.
No Eminem?
Not in my top 10. In the top 5, yes. In mine's, no.
I got you.
Yeah, okay. Mine's no. In the real one, yeah. Hell yeah.
And you got to remember where I'm basing mine from. This ain't from because I would make this list. If you was putting all the criterias in, everything, and what actually makes a successful artist, my top 10 would look totally different too. And I'm not even doing these necessarily in the order, right? Like I don't have no order of favorite. I would have to say Scarface is personally my favorite rapper. So I got Scarface, Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, Tupac, Biggie, Black Thought, K Reno, Chino XL. I say Rakim already?
No.
Rakim and Ice-T.
So no Jay-Z.
No, not in this. No, it's my top 10, dog. I love Jay-Z. He'd be in my top 15, though, for sure.
Man, my top 10. Just my personal top 10, just on me, not to the world.
From a white guy's perspective.
I'll put Sugar Free in there. Nice. I was a huge fan of him. I could listen to that guy all day, and that's part of it, just being me and being a comedian. Like I feel like you could pull him off pull the beat right out from under him, and I'm still listening. I wouldn't care.
Nice. That's LL though.
Yeah, I would put Pimp C on there.
Nice.
UGK stuff was great. Honestly, I like listening to Project Pat. I put him at 10, maybe outside the top 10 if I run out of names.
I ain't mad at that.
I liked Twister and Do or Die. Separate artists, but kind of like they overlapped a lot. They got a similar thing going on. I'll put Twist on there because he's one guy. Outkast and Goody Mob will do the same thing with them.
Nice.
I think they're fantastic, underrated. I want to put Warren G on there. He just didn't have enough volume. I'll give Snoop a nod on there. I'll put Ross on there. He did do a lot of work. I'm gonna put Boosie on there. I like Boosie. He's an interesting cat to me. I don't even know what I'm at now. Is it like 7?
Yeah, you got 3 more.
3 more. I gotta put somebody from the Bay Area up there. My friends up there are gonna kill me.
Well, this your list, dog. It shouldn't be about your friends in the Bay Area. They got their own list.
Yeah, but I could list 20 and it's all a tie. Like there's 4 and there's a 12-way tie at 5 to 14. I'll put Keek on there. I thought Keek really came through. I'm not even gonna lie about that.
You got a good list, dog.
Yeah,
what else? What else we got? Let's see. My last 2 on the list. That's tough. I could throw a rock hit Pompano Beach, so I'm gonna put Kodak in my top 10 just so I can make it to the grocery store and back.
So you said Kodak. I'm just saying rappers just to say rappers, dog. Kodak Black.
Yeah, because I was in Pompano yesterday and my car broke down. So I'm like,
see, if we start talking about that, because see, I gotta have shout out to Ghostface Killer, shout out to Raekwon, shout out to Pusha T, because your top 10 list got to be something personal. But I'm not gonna share nobody's song on here because I don't want YouTube tripping on me. But listen to these lyrics right here. This is the new normal. Everybody's too carnal. When strong becomes suppressed, effects are too harmful. Who are the life-altering pushers of this type of madness? Black men are glad to put a dress on as a rite of passage. The self-degrading path to cash deeply impacts your mental. The consequential aftermath of this ain't accidental. So senseless, we don't even know our own divinity. Defenseless against this war on our own masculinity. Who benefits from the bending of our tendencies to dominate any of the enemy's industries? It's bigger than money and material favors, black and status in this world, because he already gave us that. He baited you with things to alter your behavior track and make distractions to keep you from claiming greatness back. Covered our eyes so with him we don't break our ties and never realize that it's in our hands the power lies. Who is that, dog? That's K Reno. If y'all don't know, go check out K Reno, y'all, because that's my thing. You got to give MCs their credit, dog. A lot of these dudes, K Reno probably ain't never sold over 5,000 records, bro, but he's still one of the greatest. That don't negate the fact that he ain't great. And I'm going to leave y'all with that.
It's funny somebody said Kodak Black. I think Kodak Black is severely underrated.
Thank you.
Kodak Black is for the younger cats, dog. And it's like this. I think people will be looking at me like I was crazy if I came out and said I was listening to Kodak Black. I'm a grown-ass man.
I listen to Kodak Black. Kodak Black is hard as a motherfucker.
I fuck with that dude.
I think all of these guys have something because they're not selling records for no reason.
That's my last one. My number 10, because I started the show saying it's a guy I was listening to earlier today. My man Peasy, because I got to come full circle.
Nice.
Peasy
he got a kind of super cold list.
He got a whole list. He got a whole list called
top 10 lists I've ever heard before.
Pete's list is actually nice, dog.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate that because I was waiting to get laughed at 10 times in a row.
It's a good list, Pete. That's my list right there.
Oh, we gotta populate the lists on the thing so people can read them.
Oh, okay. So who put as digital soapbox number 1? Snoop, Two-Face, man, y'all. Okay,
that's my list.
Oh, that's your list right there. I'm gonna make another one there. I'm gonna put mine up there then. So what we want y'all to do? We want y'all to flood this because we gonna do actually a end of the year special with all this, the greatest albums and all that. So what we want y'all to do as fans out there, we want y'all to flood the comment section with y'all top 10. With everybody's top 10.
Yeah, y'all always talking shit, and I think y'all top 10 is trash. I need to see it.
Yeah, but you know what, though, G? And I don't get mad when people say that Kendrick is in their top 10 because Kendrick is actually nice.
Listen, if somebody young doesn't have Kendrick in their top 10, what I'm starting to realize is it's kind of where you grew up in time. You know what I mean? Like the top 10 and my top 10, all the guys I listen to kind of coming up. Probably the newest guys is Ross. I was grown when Ross came out, and I was grown when Kanye came out. But those two guys made my list. Pretty much everybody else I grew up listening to.
For sure.
I'm not mad. I see some Benny Siegel there, and I just said that earlier. I thought it was a time when Benny was just as nice as Jay.
Yeah, I don't know. Rappers don't suck these days.
Yeah.
I want to ostracize CML onto my list too, because I always forget listening to that guy from time to time.
Man, ain't no asterisks. You got a top 10. There's top 10. Ain't no honorable mentions and no asterisks. You got to make a top 20 now.
I'm gonna kick somebody out. Ross gotta go. Sorry, Ross.
Ross is definitely one of the best song makers in hip hop and one of the best rappers. His beat making ability is uncanny. He makes great records, dog. And you know, he won at 50 at the time when 50 had people shook, man, and he actually won that battle.
I gotta ask a question. Do you guys think did Rick Ross make the beard trend what it is today?
I think that depending on you know what? I
could
say he make it popping. He made it super popping. I would say the first cats I seen were rocking their beards like that was the Philly cats, though. But you got to say Ross did make the beard.
Well, like Freeway,
all them dudes. That's they
Freeway had a weak beard. Ross came on that DJ Khaled song with this big old beard. He was like in the top part of the screen. I was like, shit, that guy looks like
Ross is so. What's funny is Ross is so dope. No, he was dope for so long. He made great rap.
Yeah, he was.
He's a perfect example of somebody who I don't over consider an MC, like as this fantastic, great MC, but he's more than qualified as an MC, but he's such a fantastic songwriter and rapper. He knows how to make it all work together. That's why I'm really careful when we start talking about MCs and rappers. It's like Ross was able to do it at the greatest level you could write songs as far as a rapper goes.
Yeah, Ross definitely is that dude, man, because like when you start talking about, because see, it's a lot of great rappers that ain't great songwriters, dog, and I ain't gonna go into that because that's a whole different debate. Some of these rappers that are great rappers, the reason why they stuff don't resonate is because they're not great songwriters. At the end of the day, you have to be able to entertain people too as well.
They're too micro vision oriented.
Yeah,
for sure.
So that's what I want y'all to do. Y'all flood us with y'all list, man. And when we go come
back. I'm gonna read. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read all of y'all lists. How y'all be trying to criticize my shit. I'm gonna read all y'all lists, and I'm gonna criticize all y'all lists. I'm gonna tell you
that's gonna be great. A top 10 fan roast episode.
Sure, gonna get
on. It's just gonna be a debate episode. See, we ain't gonna be like these other cats. It ain't about.
But the fans aren't gonna jump into the show, so it's gonna be a roast. We can't have. I don't know if we have the ability to technologically get 20.
Well, we got here, and y'all make sure y'all go tune in every week to watch Glasses and Peter's podcast, No Ceilings.
Yeah, we got a new one coming out tomorrow. That's gonna be fire.
So
wait, what? I didn't even. I'm not even on
it. We out here, and Peter, I'm gonna get you some soundproofing, dog, so you don't be over there. Your sound reverberating off your walls.
Sound like
man.
You just in a motherfucking. I don't know. It sound like you in the White House.
It sound like you in the bathroom somewhere, dog.
Where I am.
We will get you at least a rug and some curtains, dog. So we out of here, y'all. We see
I'll
y'all.
bubble wrap the place. See you guys.
Happy holidays, and we see y'all in a minute.